Howdy folks, Kirk and Jason here with Kirk Giordano Plastering. Today I want to show you guys some more tips on applications. Now the fellow who did this patch, he obviously removed an air conditioning unit and he put it on and he says, well man, I could not get it to hang. Let me tell you guys something that we take for granted. Okay, first of all, you've got this mesh here. This is 3.4 Soffit Mesh. It's used for ceilings. In some states they actually do use this on walls. But what he did was he put it too flat and he's going 1.5 inches. So if it's so flat, it's a little tougher. You might even want to put furring strips underneath. That way the wire is between, say, the depth here is 1.5 inches. If that wire was separated from the wall, it would have adhered much better because it would have mushroomed through. Anyhow, this is what he did, and we're going to clean it up a little bit. We're going to plaster it. It'll probably take me 5 minutes to plaster it. This finish here, you see that grain. Now all that is they take a sponge float and they bring out the aggregate. They bring the sand out. Aggregate's a fancy name for sand. So I'll show you some products, guys, just because sometimes people call me from Home Depot and they say, hey Kirk, I watch your videos. What product do I buy? And I think, where'd you get my cell number to ask me a goofy question? Anyway, this is Sackcrete, base coat, scratch, and brown stucco. Now they have Sackcrete, they have Quickcrete. Why are they always saying crete at the end? Because it's concrete. So they figured they'd be clever and say Sackcrete or Quickcrete. They're sold at all the major hardware stores like Home Depot, Lowe's. They're sold everywhere. All you do, guys, is add water. That's it. You just put this in a bucket, you add water, mix it, and apply it. He would have been a bit more successful had the wire been out and it would have mushroomed in there. Could he have matched this finish? Maybe, because you need a sponge float in order to bring that sand out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and spread this out real quick. Now we are using a product called Eisenwall. Eisenwall is a quick set. It's just like that stuff. It's a quick set. The only difference is this set's faster. Now, it sets faster, but I want it to set fast. We're 1.5 inches thick in some areas. Now what I was telling him is, if you're going to apply it and it does fall, sometimes that means that the material is kind of sandy. But when you buy it like that, guys, it's all in one. You should have everything in it that you need. When I just now got here, what I did is I put this blue stuff. What's that blue stuff? It's a bonding agent. Why did I put a bonding agent? Because he didn't leave any scratch marks. So it's harder for this to adhere. It has to have a mechanical bond, guys. And in order to get a mechanical bond, that just means either I wet this with a garden hose and have it dripping all over, or I hit it with the Weldcrete. And I hit it with the Weldcrete around here. Weldcrete is just a blue bonding agent. That is because I'm going to go over the painted surface to blend this one in. And again, guys, you have those at Home Depot and Lowe's. You also have Rapid Set. Rapid Set has a 1620 sand. That's a heavy sand like this. You also have Green Core. Green Core is a lighter sand. Here's what I do too, guys, just out of habit. In case this drops out, I'll put my hawk under so it'll catch it. But anyway, when you're doing tops, guys, you want to go hard up here. Squeeze it up into that key. Less likely to fall out. And if you play with it or over trowel it, you get a dropout. Now I'm going to need one more little bitty application. And here we go. Now I'm going to pull it up and sideways. When I say sideways, I mean on edge. If I do this on edge, it dries faster. If I close it, it seals it. And because I want this to dry really fast, I'm putting it on edge. See, okay, I'll do something I shouldn't do because I have a wet base because I put weld cream. If I seal it like that, that's sealing it. You can't breathe. So it takes a lot longer to dry. But if I put my trowel on edge, now it's drying fast. And I want it to dry fast because it's so thick. I don't want to be here all day. In other words, so I'm pulling it on edge and I'm pulling it upward. Now this is a good example. You see that it's starting to come down because you don't want to seal it. So anyhow, I'm going to give this about 15 minutes while Jay and I have lunch, or breakfast actually, and then I'll show you how we float this. All right guys, we had a cup of coffee. The owner was kind enough to offer us. Let's see if it's ready. Now it looks ready. That's ready. That's 10 to 15 minutes. That's with rapid set, or if you go to the material yards, Eisenwall. That stuff is no joke. Let's see. Kirk's the best. That's pretty set, and that's over an inch thick. Okay, now guys, what I was saying earlier is you take a sponge float. This brings out the aggregate. Now if you notice, you've got float lines here. That means they used a lot of water and they pulled in weird directions. So we're going to pull in weird directions. If you buy rapid set, it does have this 1620 sand. That has the same sand. Green Core USA that is sold at Home Depot and Lowe's has a fine sand. You can't get this finish unless you use a lot of water. Can I make this smooth? Yes. Can I make this half the sand? Yes. You just wet it, float it, and then come back with a dry float, and I could almost make it smooth. But anyway, here we go. Okay, we're going to wet this. We're going to do our joints first. We're going to do the joints first. We're going to take the new and bring it into the existing. So we're going to, like so. And when this sponge gets full of stucco, which it will, you see right now it's starting to drag. I flip it around and get my last little, okay, now it's full of stucco. So we take it, we clean the stucco out. And guys, you're just flipping it around, flipping it around, flipping it around. Boom, and tap it on the inside. Don't tap it right here. You bend the float the wrong direction. Okay, again, we are feathering in the joint. If you don't know how to feather in the joint, guys, you're going to have a noticeable patch. And this is right in the front of the fellow's house. If you're going to do a bad patch, do it in your backyard where no one can see it. Okay, I'm going to tap this water out. Tap the water. Actually, I'm tapping the sand out, the cement, because we don't want the cement in here. Otherwise, it drags this. Now, all I got is the center. Okay, upward, upward, upward. Now, okay, if you want to get fancy, you see these guys are coming straight up, and I'm in circles. They're straight up here, so what I'm going to do is do that once more. I'm going to clean this float. Clean the float. Get the stucco out of it. Clean it. Tap the water out, because I don't want too much water now. Tap it. Okay, now I'm going to match this. See how they're going here? Now you just put a little pressure. I'm going to put 10 pounds of pressure. You see those lines? Those lines are going up. Here, the lines are going up. 10 pounds of pressure. Here, about 5. Boom, there you go, guys. Nothing to it. And if you go too much, where you can see this little transition, take it into the transition to make the transition disappear. And if you got caulking, pull it off. Anyway, guys, I'm going to pull this piece of caulking off and feather that in. But you see how it's done. This explains some of the materials, some of how to bring the aggregate out. Anyhow, guys, my name is Kirk. Jason on the camera. We thank you for watching, and as usual, see you guys on the next one.
All right, folks, we've reached the end of another video. As always, we thank you for watching. If you enjoy what we're putting out for you guys, please like and subscribe to keep supporting us. And as usual, from the entire Giordano family, We'll see you on the next one.